Hey guys, my name is Grace Manning and I'm a watercolor portrait artist based out of East Tennessee. Today we're going to be painting this portrait. It's also right here. And it has a lot of really fun but also really challenging features like ringlet curls and freckled skin, which I personally love to paint. So I'm going to show you guys how I would approach those things in this quick tutorial. I hope you enjoy it and let's get started. Okay, so here's our setup. As you can see, I have a light sketch here already, and this is on Arch's 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. I also have the reference image pulled up here on my phone in case you see my hand reaching for that in any of the frames. Here are the brushes that we're going to be using today. They are all Princeton Velvetouch round brushes in various sizes, starting with the smallest, which is a 10-0 liner, and then going up we have a 1 round, a 2 round, a 3 round, and a 4 round. I use these two the most, and the largest we'll be using today is a 6 round. The paints I'm using today are my personal favorites, Grumbusher Academy, and I'm going to do my best to list them in the order I plan to use them, starting with Phthalo Yellow Green and Phthalo Blue. And moving on to our yellows, we're going to have Lemon Yellow, Golden Yellow, Naples Yellow, use this one a lot, Cadmium Orange Hue, and then our browns we have Raw Umber Hue, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, and then for our reds we're going to be using Phthalo Crimson, Cadmium Red Medium Hue, and then our little trio of blacks and whites we have Payne's Gray, Chinese White, and Lamp Black. Alright, I've already got some colors out on my palette here and I have those labeled for reference. And I personally always like to start a portrait by working on the eyes, nose, and lips first. They're kind of just a guide for me. So coming in with my size 2 brush and working wet on wet, meaning that I've already applied a layer of clear water, I'm going to just lay down some initial colors that will blend together. So her eyes are a combination of a lot of really pretty colors, but they have a yellow-green base. So I'm going in with some golden yellow and phthalo green, and then even some burnt sienna up on the edges, and even a little bit of phthalo blue too, because there's a little bit of a blue highlight towards the top. Before coming in with our Payne's Gray and purple mix to both define the iris and the pupil. Now, that Payne's Gray and Cadmium Red are what make up my purple mix, and I'm going to use that a lot in defining some of her characteristics. I'm also going to take that same mix and I'm going to outline both her upper and bottom eye shape before taking some water and dragging down some phthalo blue into the white of her eyes, because as we know, the white of the eye is never really white. And also, while things are still wet, I'm going to take some phthalo crimson and lightly define the top and bottom lash lines so those colors will have a smooth transition into each other. And that's going to be a good base for our eyes. Now taking that purple mix, I'm going to go on ahead and define her nostril shapes as well as the opening of her lips. Then similar to the eyes, I'm going to start by wetting the shape of her lips with clean water before laying down a base color, and once that's dry we'll go in with some bolder color details. Now notice that a lot of lip detailing and dimension is made by focusing on those vertical line creases, and they really show up on the highlight or middle areas of the lip and then fade into bolder color near the edges. Okay, now we're ready to start on our first skin layer. And again, I'm going to start by getting everything wet with clean water, so I'm using our size 6 brush for that since this is such a large area. And then for this first skin layer, I'm going to be working primarily with Phthalo Yellow Green and Phthalo Blue. The goal here is to mimic vein colors, so this does differ slightly for different skin hues, but since skin is translucent, our vein colors really do add a hue to all of our skin tones and even show through in certain areas, especially on the face like the inner eyes or around the nose, so this is going to help add to the realism of our portrait. So as you'll notice, I'm laying down my light green in the highlight areas of her skin and then building up to phthalo blue in the surrounding and shadow areas. I will also often go in and add a little bit of our purple mix to deepen shadow areas or important crease lines. And in this portrait, I'm even going to go on ahead and put a little bit of burnt sienna near the hairline to help create a smooth transition to those shadow areas up top. Seeing how the initial face layer has already dried, you can see how seamlessly these colors blend together. And that's why working wet on wet is especially important in these base layers. We don't want anything harsh or defining here. We just want a smooth layer to build on. Using the same technique, I'm going to block in some of the darker colors of her hair to define her outer face shape. Here I'm blending burnt umber and our purple mix in the darker areas, and then defining some of her lighter areas and curl details with the golden yellow, raw umber, and even burnt sienna. It's helpful to go ahead and define these lighter detail areas and then work around them with our darks. You always have to preserve your lights with watercolors. And again, to keep things smooth, I'm also going to go on ahead and drag down some burnt sienna from the hairline onto her forehead to help blend right into those shadow areas. Now we're ready for our second and third skin layers, or the yellow, orange, and pink red layers. I've listed out the colors I'll be using here. Again, I'm starting by getting our work area wet with a size 6 brush before coming in with a full layer of Naples yellow. We're going to use this color all over her face, but I'll be adding more pigment to the areas where we had phthalo blue and only putting a light layer over the areas where we had light green. Often I'll even use a paper towel to dab up color on those highlighted areas of her skin to make sure we keep them light. I'm also trying to show my real process, and I often kind of blend color layers at this stage because I am working in a gradient, so while things are wet for the Naples yellow layer, I am also blending in a little bit of cadmium orange and even burnt sienna in shadow areas. Now here's a slightly closer look at my process on her right eye. You'll notice that I'm placing most of the pigment at her crease lines and then pulling it outward with water from there. And I'm also going to go into the inner eye and re-emphasize the blues and the greens that I see there. Now I'm taking a bolder amount of burnt sienna to her shadow areas and blending it up into her hairline, defining her chin and even her eye creases. You likely already know this, but watercolor dries much lighter than it's applied, so really don't be afraid to apply bold color here, especially where there's shadow. You don't want to overwork your paper by having to go back in and add too many layers. I'm going to continue to add more blue and green where we see them popping up, mainly again underneath her eyes, also around her nose creases. But then overall, I'm going to come in stronger with a layer of orange, burnt sienna, and we're even going to dip our toes into some pinks as we start to get closer to her final skin tone. This is really where you want to pay attention to the shape of the highlights and the shadows on your subject's face. Yes, we are aiming to get to the right facial coloring, but we don't want to lose the dimension that our lights and darks are bringing just by drenching everything in the same amount of color wash. As we're approaching final layers, I am now adding in my reds and purples, as well as finally approaching facial details like her eyebrows, her freckles, and even the curls on her forehead. Freckles are really some of my favorite details to get to paint with watercolors, as I think watercolor is one of the best mediums to capture their really sporadic patterns, and I think it's part of why I picked this reference photo. So we're going to approach them in two ways. First wet on wet, and then again adding some bolder, more prominent ones once that underlayer has dried, similar how we approached both her eyes and her lips. So as you can see, I'm going in with burnt sienna where there's a thick concentration of freckles on the bridge of her nose, and I'm just blocking that color in. And then over on her cheek where they're more individualized, I've got a layer of water down and I'm lightly tapping some freckles into that area. Since it's wet on wet, you can even see them start to fade and shift in the sequence. I'm using that same color to then just do some shadow work on her neck, and again in the shadows of her upper hairline, even bringing that purple mix in on her forehead to mimic that shadow that the curl is casting. Now another important final step is taking our purple mix and really darkening shadow areas for depth. Important areas not to miss here are underneath the nose, the inner eyes, and even side of the nose and underneath the lips. Those are really going to bring dimension to our face. I'm also going to go in with just a little bit of Chinese white now to really bring out the highlights on her nose and even that left cheek as well. You do not want to rely on white in watercolor paint, but it really can help accentuate highlights where you have them. I'm just repeating that process now over on her right cheek. And I'll just get to a few final details like her eyelashes and some loose curls before calling it on this portrait. Thank you all so much for your time and attention in this quick tutorial. I hope it can help you create more of what you love. Happy painting!